Morning, everyone.
This meeting is being recorded.
So in the last session, we were discussing about directives, right? And most of you were not available in last two classes. So we'll have a quick recap what we have discussed in last two classes, and after that we'll move forward. So we were discussing about directives. Now, if you see it on a bulk level, that what is directive? Directive simply means something that can manipulate the DOM, right? That can manipulate the DOM. Now, how a DOM is going to be manipulated, I'll show you it. I hope you are well aware about the concept DOM. Let's say this is your DOM right now. DOM means some content that you are displaying in the browser. Let's say this is your DOM. Now, in this particular DOM, section, let's say you are displaying a text, and it can be anything like any image, audio, video, complete web. Let's say I'm displaying hello world. Now this is a DOM, right? If you are talking about this particular part, I will say that this is DOM, right? This particular part is DOM. Now if it is written and hard coded in HTML, it is a, then if you want to change it, now let's say this is what you have written, hello world. In that you have to add today's date also. Let's say today we are having 20th of January 2025. Now if this part is hard coded inside your HTML, you have to call that in JavaScript or TypeScript, then attach some on click event, then you can change it. But if it is already available in TypeScript, then it will be easy to change, right? It will be easy to change. So directives are the classes or instruction that will change or manipulate the DOM. Simple thing. Directives are of three types: component, structural directive, and attribute directives. Component is the same component attribute that you are using at the rate of component decorator. That is only directive. I'll show you it. So sometimes we write this at the rate of component, right? This is the component directive only, because it is manipulating the DOM by showing this particular file. That is also directive. Then we come to the structural directive. Structural directive are used to modify the DOM by adding or removing the child. It means that if you are using structural directive, either you will be adding some child to the DOM or you will be removing some child to the DOM. We have already discussed all of these things, but by looking at your faces, I understood that you are not getting this, so we'll repeat it. So this is a project, test project. I will talk about this one only. Okay, so in this test project, we have this component. Now in this HTML, you forget all these things. This also I'll remove. Now in this, what I will do is, let's say I'm creating an unordered list. Now inside this, I will create some list items. Let's say apple, banana and papaya. Over this, I will show a heading that my favorite fruits. Now let's run the application. Yes, what is the command to run the application? Remember or forgot in vacation? So we have not done anything new. It is just a heading that we are displaying along with some list item. So yes, we are getting these, right? That my favorite fruits and something like that we are getting. Now what I will do is I will create a button here. I will create a button, and button will add, let's say, plum, right? Plum is a fruit. Now what I want is whenever you are clicking on this plum button, it should add plum to the list, but it is not possible. Why? Because the content that you are taking is in hard coded in HTML, right? Now, do you know any method? If you want to attach some on click event here, something like that, you know how lengthy the process it is. You got my question? You are displaying three fruits, and after that you want to add this plum also. I want that whenever you are clicking on this plum, the plum fruit should be added in the list. Now, if you want to do it as we are doing, so at first you have to attach a on click to it. So I will write add plum, right? I will add the, and let's check whether this work button is working or not. So go to console. See how you can check whether button is working or not. Open the console and click on the button. Now button is saying one error that add plum is not defined. Means this is working. So now you have to define this add plum in TypeScript. So here is the TypeScript. Here I will write that add plum written. Now here write one thing, console.log button is working. Button is working. Because you have to check that is it working in TypeScript also or not. For that again same thing we will repeat. Go to console and click on the button. And again it is saying that add plum is not defined. Mistake. You need to bind it actually, like attaching the event there and then holding it. Even if it is working, you need to create a child. After that, add a new child, and it is going to be a very lengthy process. See, whatever value you are hard coding in HTML, I will tell you one thing. See, there are two options. Either you can easily develop your website using HTML, CSS, and JS, right? Any website. Frankly, I'm telling that no Angular, no React, no Vue, nothing is required. HTML, CSS, and JS are more than enough to develop any website. Then why we need Angular or React something? I have worked on both of these websites, like creating website only these three using Angular or using React. The difference lies in the speed. If you are hard coding everything in HTML, as we know, HTML don't know any logic. You cannot perform logic in HTML. For that, you need JavaScript or TypeScript. So better to write the things in TypeScript or JavaScript as much as possible. Now what we want is, I will remove this, and here I will declare a fruits array. I will declare a fruits array. So same fruits array I will declare apple, banana, and papaya. Okay. Now, how you will display this array which is declared in TypeScript? How you will display this array in HTML now? For that only we have structural directives, right? For that only we have structural directives. How? They are used to modify the DOM by adding or removing the child. Now, this fruits array is a child here. So we will add this. But how we will add this? For that we have three built-in structural directive: ng for, ng if, ng switch. So I have written them with the asterisk sign because that is mandatory. Now ng stands for Angular. So now you will see that for, if, switch, isn't it like loop and then conditional statement? Yes, it is like that only. So this for is a loop here. Now you have to run this loop in HTML. How we will be running this? For that, the first thing you need to do is you need to import the ng-for. So in the component directive, you will create a imports property. If it is not there, you will create a imports property. If it is not available, if it is available, then you can add it here. So here I will write ng-for, right? I have imported ng-for. It means now you can use ng-for in your Angular. After that, what I will do is here I will create a unordered list, simple, and then I will create a list item. Now, what you need to write in this list item is you need to write asterisk ng for, it means you are running a loop here. So running a loop, let I iterator, let I of fruits, I of fruits. Now this fruits is the exact your array name. This ng, this fruits is your exact array or list name or object name. So let I of fruits, and after that here we will use the string interpolation and we will publish the I. Directly write the I. And you will see that apple, banana, papaya are coming. Now, if you are adding one more fruit here, let's say I will add plum. Now, if you want to modify the header components fruit array by using any function, it is very easy. How? Now we will try to do the same thing. I will not add the plum here. Means I will not hard code the value. I will use a function. Simple thing. For that, this is a case. Add plum function is there. Now, in the last section, we have done event binding, right? We have done event binding. So this on click is a event. In which bracket we need to bind it? Property binding then. In the last section, we have done two-way data binding or one-way data binding. And in that particular, we have discussed about two bindings, property binding and event binding. In which bracket we need to do? Property bind. This is event, right? This is a on-click event. Now you have to bind it. How you will bind it? So if you are writing in this way, and then you are going to your browser, here you will say that property add plum does not exist on header component. Now you can write this property here. So I will write add plum. That's it. Now what this add plum will do? This dot fruits dot push plum. Right? In the fruits array, you are push. I think you know push and pop. Push means inserting, pop means removing. Okay, so we'll check something. Okay, got it. Now what we want is, at first, let me remove this entire part. And from here also, I will remove this add plum. First thing you should understand this part, that if you are directly attaching a on click event to this, on click equals to, let's say, add plum, and this add plum is a function. If you are directly attaching this, first let's check it's working in HTML. So here it will say that it is not defined. Now if you are defining this add plum directly here in this way, and then I will say this dot fruits dot push, and in this I will add plum, or this is a string value, so keep it like this. And after that I will keep console.log function is working. Okay, again same thing we will do. This time again it is saying that add plum is not defined, and here we have defined the add plum. How many of you got this? Like, you got this or not? The reason, how many of you got the reason? We have defined add plum inside the TypeScript, but it is not showing that it is defined, but we have defined it, right? Check it again. Again, it is saying that it is not defined. For that, you have to bind this event. For this, what we need to do is we need to bind this event. In Angular, this is the problem also, and the same is the solution also, that you have to bind this. Now, how you will bind it? So this is a on click event. For that, in this way, now you are trying to bind this. Okay. And this time it is not throwing any error, right? It is not throwing any error, but it is not displaying the answer also. Let's say I'm not pushing anything into the array. I'm just directly printing function is working. Now it should show me that function is working, right? It should show me that function is working. And we did this in event binding. Remember, I'm just directly printing function is working. Yes, now you tell me. Event binding. Remember anything or everything just went swipe in the holidays? Huh? Recalling anything or everything went off? Check your notes if you are maintaining something. Check. Serja, dollar event is required when you are writing something value. Event binding. You guys even forgot that which bracket we use for event binding and property binding. See, I have made changes to the code, and this time you can see that function is working, right? But you have to find it, check your notes. I have already fixed the code. Function is working. But what change we did? How to attach the events? See, for the button, you don't need to write on click. You need to write click event, because on click is a function, not an event, but this is event binding. Click event, right? Click event you are doing. So here you need to write click. If you are trying to append the array now, so I will write this dot fruits dot push, and in this I will push the plum. So now let's check it, and you can see that it is adding the plum into the. I will create one more button. I will create one more button, and to this button I will say remove last. Means whichever value is at the last, remove it. For that, again you need to attach a click event to it. Here you will remove function remove last. Define the same function in TypeScript, that remove last. And what this function will do, this dot fruits dot pop. And we know that pop will automatically remove the last one every time. Now refresh it and first add the plum, and you can click any time and it will add plum that much time only. How easy it is. If you are removing the last one, it will keep on removing. Now you are able to add the child or remove the child, and you are manipulating the DOM by using directive ng-for, right? ng-for, and that is what you are doing. Add the plum. You can create more buttons also. It's not like that. So here we will write ng-for directive is used to render over the array or any list of items, right? Why we are using ng-for? It will render the array or any list of item. Now this is the array. I will remove these two buttons. Now this is the array, this one, apple, banana, papaya, and this is getting rendered by using a for loop. You are not writing any hard coded value. Values are coming from TypeScript and getting rendered in your DOM. So there are some of the steps. Journal steps are there. First thing is you need to import ng-for. I'm telling you, okay, first understand this. You need to import ng-for in the component decorator over the class. So first thing we did is, this is how you need to import it in this way. In the second very step, what we need to do? Declare an array or list or array of objects in script file. You can easily declare an array in this way. In the last one, render the array in HTML file using the directive. And this is the technique of writing it, that you have to first, wherever you want to render it. If you are not writing this for loop inside this list item, you can write it here in unordered list. And then again, same thing in list item, your result will be the same. There will be no change in the result, but every time it will create, listen last, there is one difference in whatever element you are writing your directive or you are running your loop, that element will be created multiple times. Here, if you are writing it in the unordered list, means the parent tag, how many fruits are there? 3 fruits. It will create 3 different lists, not one list. 3 different lists it will create. Let me show you. So this is how it is coming now. Go to inspect and check the source code. So this is the header, expand it. You will see that it has created 3 unordered lists, 3, 1 UL, 2 UL and 3 UL. So in whatever element you are writing the command, it will create that elements 3 times, 4 times. So better to use it in the child wherever you want it. Now you will see that it has created only one unordered list. Inside that one UL, it has 3 list items. And that is the exact technique, right? So that's how it is works. Yeah, Mansi, we can create. We are going to do that now. Like we will develop a to-do list. So you understood the use of ng4 directive, right? Shall we move forward or you have any question? We have already discussed in last 2 classes, but you were absent, most of you. That's why I revised it. Understood ng4? Okay. Okay. Now we are going to discuss about ng if. We already know one thing. Why we use ng if? Why we use ng if? Wherever you want to write any condition, there you can use it. If is also same here. Ng stands for Angular, if is the condition. Ng if is used to conditionally render the element. It will only render the child if the condition is returning true. If the condition is returning true. Now we will see that how ngIf will work. For that we will go to one previous concept that we have already done. So I'll remove this part and I'll create an input box here. And in this input box, I will write the value equals to mobile. And this is how it will come. Because you are writing the value directly. Again, we are writing the value directly. So that's not a good practice. What I will do is here I will create a value colon string equals to mobile. And here I will create one h2, and for h2 I will write you have searched for then I will keep a string interpolation here and I will write value, or not value, you can write here search text. Search text. Now what I want is if I am erasing this mobile from there and if I am writing here shoes, it should come here. We have already done this, right? Two-way data binding or one-way data binding. For that, instead of writing this value directly, we will write it a property, and in property I will give search text. Coming. Then we need to attach a input event to it. Right? Input event, and this input event will call a function that is called simple text function with a argument as $event. Right? It is saying that it is not defined, so let's define this here. Text, it is accepting one argument as event, and what it will do, type to any, and what this event will do, it will change the search text. So this dot search text equal to event dot target dot value. Now whatever you are writing here, it will directly change here also. Let's say if you are searching for shoes, it will come here. We have already done this part. Now let's say when you are removing, getting removed instantly, this also, this also, this also. Now tell me one thing, if I have removed everything from the input box, do we need to display this text? No, but it is coming that you have searched for nothing, and it is not looking good here. Got the point? Let's say if you are searching here mobile, so it is showing that you have searched for mobile. It is fine. You are searching for MOBMO or simple M, it is fine. But when you are not searching for anything, why this heading is getting rendered here? That is called conditionally render. That is called conditionally render, and for that you have to use ngIf. Steps are same. First step is you have to import ngIf. Right? First step is you have to import ngIf. What you want to display conditionally, this heading. So here same way, ngIf equals to. Now here you have to write the condition. Here you have to write the condition. What you will write here? I want if this search text is null. If you are removing this mobile value from here, you are making search text as null. I want that if this search text is null, this heading should not be visible. So here I will write ng if search text not equals to null. Not equals to null. So you will see here, now it is visible. What I have written that search text is not equals to null. Is it true condition now? Search text is not null. True. Display the heading. Now I will keep simple m here. What the condition is, search text is not equals to null. True, because search text has m. When this condition become false, right, that is removed. Because search text become null now. There is nothing inside search text. And this condition is returning false. Why this is returning false? You are saying that search text is not equals to null, but search text is null. So means you are telling a lie here. This is a false condition. That is why this heading will not be displayed this time. Right? This heading will not be displayed now. Understood, ng if? Understood? Conditionally rendering. Conditionally rendering. If condition is true, then only that particular part will be rendered. Now, if you are writing anything back, let's say here I will write O. Again, that part is coming. Removing, that is also going. That's how it works. Right? That is how it works. So that is called ng if. Steps are somewhat same, so I'll copy paste. Steps of using ng if directive. First we need to import it. Ng if here. After that, what we need to do, declare a condition or any property in the script file. So what condition we are declaring? We are declaring that search text is equals to a string, and that string is simply a mobile phone. In this way. After that, render the property in HTML file using the render the property conditionally. Whenever you are writing that, make sure that you are adding the asterisk sign in the starting. For that, this is the condition that I am writing. And in the last step, you can do one more thing, that declare an function to test the working of if. For that, first thing you need to attach a event like this. And then you can define the function in this way. That's it. So this was ng if. Now we are coming down to ng switch. Remember what was switch? It is just a simplified way of writing multiple else if else condition. Remember? Switch. I'll show you, don't worry. Let's say user will enter a number, that 3. Now you have to print the corresponding day name. Day 1 means Monday. Day 2 means Tuesday. Sunday is not the first day of week. Monday is the first day of week. So remember how we will do that. So we will say that if num is equals to 1, console.log Monday. And then you have to write else if condition, that else if num equals to 2, then Tuesday, something like that. And it will become a very long code. Here user will give one choice and you have to print the corresponding result. Now see, then again you have to write else if for Wednesday, same else if for Thursday, then for Friday, then for Saturday, then for Sunday, and you have to write a default condition. We can easily handle this part using a switch condition. So here we will write switch. Switch will work on num. And inside that case 1. This 1 is a value here. This 1 is a value. That case 1. When the value of num is 1. Console.log Monday. After that you can break this. Now you need to use it the same way. Here I will write Tuesday and case is 2 here. If you're writing 2, it will print Tuesday. If you're writing 1, it will print Monday. And after that, I will write a default case, wrong input. Generally, there are 7 days, but I'm taking example of only 2. So if you're writing here 10, it will say wrong input. Right? Now this is a switch. We have already discussed switch in JavaScript. Yeah, I'm just revising this concept. Now how we will be using ng switch, same example I will write in the here. I'll remove this part. See, I am removing all these things. I'm not giving you source code because we will develop a project. To-do list we will develop. After that, we will do it. Okay. For that, what we will do is here search text and these things I will remove. I will declare a value here. So I will write value equals to 1. Or let me create day here. That day will be in string equals to 1. Now I want to render that here. At first h2 you have given input, for. Inside this I will write h3, but here it is a little bit complicated. This is the switch case. How many things it is having? First is the switch function, then cases. That's how you use it here also. For that I will create a div at first. Now this div will be using switch. First thing is, this switch is not a direct condition. It is a property first. For that, you have to bind it as a property. ng switch. It will work on day. It will work on day. This day. Such thing. After that, you need to write its case. Now, case are the direct conditions. So here I will write asterisk ng switch case equals to 1, and this 1 is a string, so you can keep it in single quotes. Now if ng is equals to 1, you have to display here Monday. If you are doing this, it will not display anything. It will say that ng switch is not available, so you need to import it, and that is also a problem in ng switch. I will show you. If you are importing this ng switch in this way, you have given input for and it is not showing that, right? It is not showing Monday. Value is 1 only. Value is 1. If you are facing that, okay, you have given it a string, I will remove it. Now let's say days directly 1, and from there also I will remove this string. Now switch case 1 you are giving, and it should show Monday, but it will not show. And that is a bug nowadays in Angular, right? And it is coming from longer time actually. For that, what you need to do is, instead of importing ng for, ng if, ng switch, you can import something else and it will work for all. So you will see that it is importing ng for, ng if, ng switch from Angular common, means common modules or common package. So what you need to do is, you can directly import the common module instead of these ng if or switch. Because if you are directly importing ng switch, it will not work. For was working directly, if was working directly, but this ng switch will not work directly. You have to import common module for that. What we are importing? Common module. And this common module will do the work of a, for, switch. For all the structural directive, it will work. Now it is showing that you have given input for Monday. Let's write or change the value. So here I will keep the value as 2. It is not showing anything because we haven't written the case for 2. Okay, so let's write the case again. Instead of h1, let me write h3 here. Same condition, asterisk ng switch case equals to 2. On 2 I want to show Tuesday. Now it is showing that you have given input for Tuesday. Now we will complete this. So copy paste it. Now this is the case for 3, for 4, for 5, for 6, for 7, and here ng switch default. If you're directly writing the default case, ng switch default. So here, let me first show it for default. Here I will show wrong input. Wrong input. And I will give the value as 10 or 20, anything. So it is showing that you are giving a wrong input. Now let's change our design. So here I will show Wednesday. And here we will do Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Now, if you are writing 5, it is supposed to say Friday. That's it. That's how ng switch works. Understood? Okay. Steps are again same for ng switch. ng switch is used when you have to select one condition out of given multiple choices. In other words, ng switch removes the use of multiple if and else if condition. If and else if conditions. So whenever you are writing multiple if else, if else, if else, you can directly use switch. For that, how you need to do? Nowadays, ng switch is not working directly. You have to import common module for ng switch. For or if both will work in common module also. But they can see for was working independently. ng was working, but ng switch is not working. So for that we need to import the common module. Rest everything is same. Here we need to import the common module. So instead of these things, you have to import common module for that. And after that, declare a condition or any property. Directly property you will declare here. So I'm declaring day as 5. And after that, in this way, you need to use it. Understood? For if and switch, you have any question? No questions? Okay. Now we are going to work on a to-do list. I hope you are aware with the to-do list. Aware? To-do list. Okay, I will show you one example for that. Login everywhere. Like there you can write your daily task. If they are completed, you can mark them as completed or like that. I'll show you, wait. So in this way, it is like that. So it will be having a profile panel. Last, what happened? Yes, middle two persons. What happened? Nothing. So it will be having these profile section which will be static. Like you will not be changing anything here. If you are changing something, it will change. But we will develop this static, or else you can directly develop task here. And here, let me first delete them. I'll show you from the starting only. So in starting, it will be like this, right? So whenever you are clicking on add task, click on this, it will display a box for you. It will display a box for you. In that box, I will write here, learn Angular 19. After that, you can add. See, these are the other functions today, priority, reminder, we will not show because for that we need a database. I will simply add the task. After that, learn Angular is added as a task. If you are clicking on this box, completed, removed. But we will not remove this. What we will do, we will convert this text to strike through. Means it will be there, but text will be having a line between them, strike through text. So that you can know. After that, here we will display one delete button. All these things we will not show, we will add a delete button. Or you can add it later, but this is the basic thing that we will show. Okay, this is to-do list. For that, I'll close all of these. This also. And the first task is to create a new project for that. ng new to do. Understood? See, it might be looking difficult for you, but when we are working, it will not be difficult. Till then, let's finalize something. Background color. You can use other websites also. And to-do list. Okay, done. So let's wait until the project is getting created. So project is created to do. First work is we will check whether this project is running or not. Project is working fine. Now, as usual, we'll delete everything. src app, we will open the HTML file, CS file, and the TypeScript file. Three common file we will use. Removing everything from this. This is very simple. First thing, we will give it a background color, and that E2 color we will give. Now I want to write a global CSS. So style.css file is there. In this style.css file, I will write for body, and I will write background color as this one. Okay. It might not be looking as changed, but it is changed. This color, you can use any other color. If you want some dark colors, I don't like dark colors. That's why I never use these kind of colors. They are very bad. Means for me, they are bad. If you want, you can use. Second thing is font I will change. For that, I think I have discussed these things with you, Google Fonts. Right. For that, we will use Google Font, and I will use my favorite go-to font here. This is the import for it. I'll copy it, paste, and to the body I will give font family of go-to, and go-to comes under serif. You know the difference between serif and sans serif? Which one has curves? Which one has curves? Serif or sans serif? Serif. So in this I will write one h1 for testing purpose. Means font. Font is working fine. Now we will create that. Here I will create a main container at first. So this div having a class as container. Understand it properly without discussing anything with each other. Now in this container, what I want is I will be giving some properties to this container. So first let's write this container. I will give it a width of, in the global CSS, let's call the universal selector at first, and write the margin as 0, padding as 0, and box sizing border box. Remove. Here I will give it a width of 100 view width, and then here we will write the height of 100 view height. That's it. It will not make any change, right? Inside this I will create a main part. So div class as main. I will tell you why I am creating this. Now this main is my working part. I will write dot main here. I will give it a width of around 600 pixel, and height also I will give, let's say 600 pixel, and background color as completely white. So that's how it will look. You are seeing this part here. Now I want this in exact center. So to the container, at first I will say that you are displaying a flex and you are aligning the items in center and justifying the content in center. That's it. It's coming. And to this main part, I will give some border radius. Border radius of, let's say, around 20 pixel. I think 20 will be more. No, it's fine. Right? Visible? Or I should change the background color. Style.css. Okay, let's go with this one only. Now, in this particular main part, at the top, we need to show a heading. It will not be completed today, right? But how much is completed, we'll do that. In the H1, I will show to-do list. And then after that, we will show H2, plan your task and achieve maximum productivity. How many of you used to write your task? Yeah, any one of you having habit of writing your task, writing a diary? No? As a developer, it is a very crucial part. You should write your things. Whenever you are writing, you will get a focus. So this is what we are doing. To-do list, plan your task and achieve maximum productivity. That is fine. To the main container, let's give some padding. Padding of around 20 pixel, but it will match with the size. Now showing these content in center. For that, you can directly write text align center. For these two things, it can work. That to-do list, plan your task and achieve maximum productivity. Now here what I will do is in component I will create a array, task array, tasks, right? As of now this is empty. As of now there is no task in this. There is no task in this. In that particular to-do list that we just now saw, there was a functionality. I will try to give you a clarification on all the things. So one task is here, I will delete it. And you will see that you are all done for the week, this particular kind of thing. So this image, and whenever you are adding some task, that will remove. Conditionally rendering, right? So what we will do is we will also show this image. For that, let's check if it is available. Okay, so it's not available. Let's check using another method. Then we will head towards Pixabay. And search here to do illustration. Okay, this we will keep. How to use images in Angular? Where we need to keep it? In SRC, at first we need to create a assets folder. In that assets folder, you need to keep your picture. Right? And I'll rename it to todo.png. After that, in the component, I will show that image src equals to assets slash todo dot png, And we know that it is not going to load our picture. Remember, it will not load our picture. For that, what we need to do? Huh? Angular.json. Inside this, assets. Where are your assets? Your assets are in src/assets. In this way, we need to write. Again, it is not loading our picture. Sometime it happens, or else run the application again. Sometimes when you are making some changes to angular.json file, try to rerun your application. Right? Picture is coming. And let's decrease the size of picture. Width of around only 200. That's enough. Very small picture we will show. Right? Now we have to conditionally render this picture. Conditionally render means when the array is empty, means there is no task. When the array is empty, then only do this. For this, I will create a button here. I will create a button, add task. Add task. For of now, I am not making any design to this button. And let's keep a BR tag here. First thing is I want to conditionally render this. Add task. If you are clicking on add task, you have added some task and then it will be removed. Let me create a input box because we will create it a different way. Now, if you are writing some task in your input box, let's say learn Angular, and then you are clicking on add task. Task should come and this picture should be removed. That's what we are doing for today. Rest thing we will complete tomorrow. Then after this, you need to render your list. So another list I will keep. In the list item, I will use ng for directive. That ng for equals to let I of tasks. Whatever tasks are there, render them here. And in task, let me write one static value. So I will write learn. So you need to import common modules, or directly you can import ng for here. So now it is building again. So learn task is coming here. Learn task is coming. You have given text align center in this way. This one. Let me remove this. I will give it to H1 and H2. See, learn is coming here. Now what I want is if array is empty, then only show this image. For that, wherever you are writing this image, I will write asterisk ng if. And what is the condition? Task not null. If task is equals to null, but here I want to say that if task is equals to null, if task is null, then only show this image. Now image is removed. If you are making your particular array as empty, oh, image is not coming. Okay. So here tasks ng if tasks equals to null. Image is not coming. First, let's check it on a heading. So heading is also not working. Now, if we are adding some task here, okay, some bug is there. No problem, we'll check it tomorrow. In this way only we will do whatever task you are writing here. We will click on add task. That task will be getting added with a checkbox and a delete button. All of these things we'll do tomorrow. Okay. Fine guys, let's connect again tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll complete this application and we will learn other directives also. I will see that why this particular condition is not working. Okay.